This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 7, Episode 12, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington, and I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington life and sports as part of the Marty Hogstein Network. I don't know why I sounded British saying that. And YouTube for the video.
It's in honor of the Queen. She was laid to rest earlier this week.
Yeah, I guess I listened too much to all that. But anyway, all right. So the Washington Commanders play the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. I guess for first place, at least in the NFC East, although the Eagles are ahead of them. But if they win this game, they could be 2-1, like it. And the NFC East looks crazy as well. And the Giants are there too. The
Giants are 2-0.
Right, they're 2-0, which is just weird. Dallas won against Cincinnati when everybody thought, oh no, they're not going to. So they're back. Phillies, managed to, win a game here. So it'd be interesting. And what I have always learned through all the years, and it always comes true, the weirdest game of the season is a Washington-Philadelphia game. It's some weird bounce, some weird play, some upset score. It's always going to be something you didn't expect, and it always happens in Philly. This time they're at FedEx Field. I'll be interested to see what the crowd is like, because Philly always comes down strong and buys tickets. I heard they're pretty much sold out, which means Philly came strong, but yeah, maybe the crowd's only half and half, because I think the last 3-4 years it's been like 90% Philly fans. Yeah. The game's at the end of the season. So it'll be a real interesting rock'em sock'em kind of place. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see who wins. We'll pick the game at the end. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think is going to take advantage of this game?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think Carson and the offense is going to come out pumped up. Carson is on the Carson Wentz revenge tour. He already beat the Jaguars in game one. He's got Indy coming up this year. He wants to stick it to the Eagles twice. And the way this offense has been playing, I don't see why they won't come out firing on all cylinders. They're pretty damn hot offense. Their defense, on the other hand, is hot garbage. And I don't think our cornerbacks can cover guys like AJ Brown. That's a huge task. And I don't know if Kendall Fuller and William Jackson are up for it. We saw it Sunday with the kid, St. Brown. At towards the end of the game, the corners weren't even traveling with him. They were just in strictly zone. I mean, you can't do that. You got to play man with these big time wide receivers. They'll burn you. I mean, and we saw it with Brown. St. Brown had a hell of a game on Sunday. So I expect AJ Brown to probably do the same. Defense is going to have to fix itself. It's going to have to do something to stay competitive, but I could definitely see Carson in the offense coming out and scoring some points.
I can see this like a 34-31 shootout, because Jalen Hurts is the way Detroit lost to Philly. Even we saw what Detroit's line can do, but Jalen Hurts basically eluded them so much. Mm-hmm. Certainly Washington's defensive line doesn't seem to be able to run anybody down either. So I think Hurts is going to hurt him, with a lot of that. But Carson certainly is going to be pumped too, and each knows the other. So I expect a shootout. To bet the over, whatever it is, I'll go with that. But yeah, the D-line, that's kind of if Washington's D-line can make an impact and keep the score down relatively decent, then I think Washington wins this game. But I'm asking them to do something they don't do very often. I think Jonathan Allen he's definitely sore. He's got a groin injury, which is not going to get better this season. That sucks when you get hurt in the first game of the year. That's going to hurt you for 17 weeks. Mm-hmm. And he's he's a big plug in there. So we're still a month away from Chase coming back on this. They got some help coming back, but I don't know. I don't have any faith in it because they haven't shown me anything yet.
This conversation was brought up yesterday. Is Chase Young a bust?
I'd say it's too early to say because he's been hurt.
I'm with you on that.
I mean, he's been gone a year. It's kind of hard to remember him at this point.
I know. It's just a lot of people were starting to think that maybe Chase is not what he was cut out to be. I mean, look, he looked pretty damn good in this first game or the first season that we had him, but last year look, I mean, the league catches up to you. You know, we saw it with Robert, we saw it with Michael Vick, we saw it with these guys, you know, that come in and we saw it with the Wildcat down in Miami. I mean, once you give coordinators and coaches stuff on tape and give them a chance to analyze it, that's where it starts to not work anymore. And that may be what Chase Young is. You know, they found a way to chip him. They found a way to prevent his bull rush. Maybe the kid needs to add a couple more moves, like a spin move, like a Dwight Freeney spin, something like that. I'm not ready to call him a bust. It was just a topic that I did see on Twitter yesterday, and some people are on that board. Some people are on that train calling him a bust. You know, I mean, but realistically, where were they going to go that year? You know, I mean, it was Burrow and Young. Those were the 1 and 2 consensus overall picks.
You know, if I switch sports for the metaphor here, Steven Strasburg had a long conversation in the Post about his physical ailments. And he said, I may not be able to pitch again. I'm 34, not getting any younger, haven't really pitched anything since the World Series. And, you know, that's where you sit there and go, was he a bust? And I would say to that, no, because he got the World Series for them, you know, and that's what you're always brought in here to do.
Oh, and it's not only winning the World Series, it's what he did in the World Series.
Yeah.
You got to remember him, Scherzer, and Corbin all came out of the pen for Game 7. You know what I mean? Like that's why Corbin has had his struggles. Is they all emptied the tank to win that World Series title in 2019.
Yeah, so you wonder, sometimes it happens. And if he doesn't come back, well, they burned $250 million on a bad contract. But that's the way it goes, and that's the learner's problem. But, you know, it just shows you that can happen to players. That injuries suddenly happen. You know, Steven's injury is just weird, listening to it. You know, I learned more body parts from Strasburg injuries than anybody, because it's like, he's missing this. What the heck is that? You know, but and it'd be a shame, because he had some really good career moments on there. And so now you look at Chase and go, well, is this guy going to be able to come back from an ACL? He's missed last half and then first half of this season. Probably not going to really be what he is the rest of this season. That brings him back to year 4, you know, before you really see again what he can do. And I don't know. It depends on if he's willing to do it. Is he willing to listen? A lot of players don't. They say they do, but they don't. And that happens. That's why a lot of players don't make it. They're not willing to.
And I'll tell you, in Chase's case, it's interesting that a 24, 25-year-old man is taking so long to heal. You know what I mean? Like, you would think you're in the prime of your life. You know, you should still be young and spry, and your body isn't broken down yet. You should be able to recover faster. I don't know. I mean, you know, everybody heals different. I get it, but I don't know. You would just think that he would be able to recover faster.
Yeah. ACLs are tough, and a lot of times they're a year.
Yeah.
But the past year, we've seen people come back from serious injuries so much faster. I don't know what kind of new meds and surgery they're doing, but like a torn ACL, that's always been a year. Now it's 6 to 9 months.
Well, and look at TJ Watt up in Pittsburgh. Didn't he tear his pec?
Yeah.
And he's not on IL. He's not done for the season. He's coming back in this season. I remember, and this is way off subject, but I remember, you know who John Cena is, obviously.
Yeah.
John Cena tore his pec, and he was supposed to be out like 9 to 12 months for a torn pec. He ended up showing up in like 4 months, came out at the Royal Rumble and won it. I mean, you know, obviously it's wrestling, it's not real, but you know, still, that your body still had to recover, and he came back from a torn pec in like 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, that's such a painful.
But also, if you look at John Cena, he is definitely a physical specimen.
Yeah, dudes. So you never know with guys. All right, so I always say, is this really a must-win game at this point? Because then you have Dallas the week after, so sure don't want to be 1-3. I thought if they could go 2-2 in the first 4, I thought they'd lose one of the first 2. So I figured 2-2 is probably it. That would be okay. On there. There's no easy games. Let's forget that kind of talk anymore. But this would be one of the tougher games for a while for them. So, and it's at home, so at least they have that. Then you got to go to Dallas. So I don't think it's a must-win game, but it sure would be a good one to win.
I've always had them losing this game. I don't, you know, I wouldn't call it a must-win. And actually after the Dak injury, I actually had them going 3-1 in the first quarter. I figured they could go out there and beat the pants off of the Lions. I casually watched the Lions Eagles game in week 1 and figured, oh, well, Detroit made up a lot of their points in garbage time. Well, no, that team might actually turn out to be halfway decent. I've always had them losing to Philly. So, no, I do not call this a must win. I do think if you go down to Philly and you are 1-2, you need to rebound with Dallas. Dak is still not going to be there. Look, Cooper Rush went out and played a decent game against the Bengals, but that was mostly the Cowboys defense that won that game for them yesterday. So you've got to go down to Dallas and you got to steal a win while Dak Prescott is sidelined. If you want to stay competitive, if you're going to stay competitive in the division, look, you lose to the Eagles, you got to turn around and beat the Cowboys.
I'll go Philly 34, Washington 31. Philly gets the last score to win this game. And last thing to pick, will Tom Brady finish the season? He's now going to take Wednesdays off. Wednesdays are like the most important day of the week for them outside of game day. Man, Giselle must really have him in a tight leash or something. But
you've heard the rumors, right?
But they might get divorced.
She's out. She's out of the house. Like, apparently she took the kids and they're not even living in the same house right now. She's pissed. She's pissed that he went back because his son is entering his freshman year in high school, and I believe he's playing high school football. And Daddy was supposed to be there to coach him and help him along, and he decided that going back to Tampa Bay was more important for this season. So yeah, she's pissed.
Well, he had such a good year last year. It's kind of hard to really walk away. You kind of want to be like Johnny Unitas, barely able to walk on the sideline, sitting on the bench with a kid playing. You don't want to be going out.
But Brady will never do that because Brady's he takes such phenomenal care of his body. I'm about to look into that TB12 diet. Maybe I can lose me some pounds. But as far as the Philly game, I'll pick give me Philly 35, Washington 24.
All right. So you think Philly will cover? I think what is it now? 4 points.
Yeah.
So I picked a 3-point game or something. I had a lot of bad beats and my beating the books on Saturdays. Last week I did it without my shirt on because I lost my shirt in the first week, but I didn't get it back in the second. So yeah, maybe another OnlyFans kind of show. Who can I tell you?
Hey, we got to be careful. YouTube might censor you for X-rated content.
Ooh, all right. Well, my daughters saw it and they were like, both of them went, "What?" So, oh well.
Hey, that's one podcast they weren't telling their friends to watch.
Yeah, well, or if their friends are watching, then there's something really wrong. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
Make sure you buy my book, 100 Things Commanders Fans Should Know and Do Before You Die. But none of you are listening at this point anyway. So
I'm still waiting for my copy. I never got it.
Well, I'm still waiting for your order.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay.
Playing that game. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.